with Coach Carlisle, our assistant coach for the boys basketball team. Coach, got a few questions for you tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Good.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us a little bit of your time.
Yes, sir.
Let me start by saying congrats on the past seasons being the assistant coach here for Erie High School.
Thank you.
I believe, me personally, you're one of the best assistant high school basketball coach in the state of Kansas.
I appreciate that.
What is your biggest challenge between transitioning between Coach Pfeiffer and our newly recent Coach Leach?
Oh, there's not really much of a challenge. My task is to simply assist and help our head coaches be as successful as possible. So I try to fill the gaps wherever possible. Both coaches have really shown to me that they're outstanding individuals, number one, and they're really great coaches, number two. So it's really been fun to work with both of them. I enjoyed working with Coach Pfeiffer. I enjoy working with Coach Leach. So it's really a labor of love, if you ask me.
Awesome. What is your greatest attribute you bring as a person and an assistant coach?
I think experience, to be honest with you. I've been in the game for a long time, and so I've seen a lot of different things, and so I'm pretty quick with ideas, and that's kind of what I do. I just give my coaches ideas as we go through the game. And the other thing that I think I bring is that the fact that if they don't use my ideas, I don't care. I really don't. I don't care if they use my ideas or not. My job is to give them ideas and let them think through those ideas and then make the best decision possible. So I don't get my feelings hurt, and I think that's an attribute that a lot of younger coaches might struggle with. But I know what my role is.
That also brings up a good point. If you bring up a situation and it works out, man, that's great. But if it don't, you say that's that's Mr. Leach's call, not mine.
And I'll never ever do that. I'll always own up to every decision I'm a part of.
Well, on that note, what is your thought? I know it's early in the season, early in the friendship with Coach Leach, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but what's your thought on the greatest attribute Coach Leach brings, not only to this team, but Erie High School?
Well, youth. He's a young guy. He's excited. He's working hard. He's just thrilled to be in this position. He has a great way of relating to the kids. And I think the kids right now are really responding to him and his passion, his enthusiasm, his dedication. He really takes pride in having the kids prepared. He takes pride in pushing them, in challenging them, not only as basketball players, but as young men. That's the thing I really appreciate, is the fact that he's focusing on the young man part, and the basketball is going to come after that. So he's got his priorities right. He's enthusiastic, and I think he's really gonna be good for our program, for our school, for our community.
Well, that's awesome words to hear, and we've kind of already touched base on this question a little bit, but I'll go ahead and ask it. I wanted you to take me through your mindset of being an assistant coach. You've already kind of said your roles and stuff, but how do you set your mind knowing going in that you're there for not only Coach Leach and the players, but just give us an overview of a mindset an assistant coach has?
Sure. Well, the toughest thing as a coach is to not allow yourself to be a spectator, not allow yourself just to watch the game and enjoy the game. You have to be engaged to the point where you are analyzing every single moment of the game. And we tend to watch the ball. We tend to wonder what's going on with the ball. Football, we'll sit there and we'll watch the quarterback when we're on TV. We don't watch what the line's doing. We don't watch what other players are doing. So in basketball, my job is to not watch what's going on with the basketball. I watch what's going on away from the basketball, because that can be what I can help Coach Leach with. I can tell him, hey, such and such is not setting a good screen. They're not doing what their job is, whatever the case is. So I take an analytical approach to the game. And I think when I take that analytical approach, I'm more valuable to our head coach, because I can give him some insight that maybe he's not seeing at that point or at that time. So that's really what I try to do, is be analytical in the process. And the other thing I do is I try to make sure I give him at least 20 to 30 ideas throughout the game. continue to give him ideas. Whether he uses them or not, don't care. But my job is to give him ideas, to give him things to think about, to give him food for thought, and also to listen to his ideas and tell him whether or not I think it's a good idea. I will always be honest with him. If I think it's a bad idea, I'll tell him I don't think that's a good idea. That doesn't mean he can't go ahead and do it and be right. But if he asks my opinion, I'll always give it.
That is great words, and I'll make a comment here in a little bit, but we'll ask. I want to ask another question. Kind of a comment question. You're always seeing the floor just as a head coach would. How do you know when, as an assistant, to speak up and basically, quite frankly, when to swallow your tongue?
Well, I'm not a proponent of swallowing my tongue. I don't think there's ever a time when I need to keep my mouth shut. I need to be discreet, and I need to make sure that the ideas that I give are not necessarily public and demonstrative, and I don't want to ever upstage my head coach. So I have to be discreet in how I do it, and I have to be eloquent in how I do it at times. But I'll never swallow my tongue because, that's not my job. My job is to give him ideas. My job is to be a sounding board, and if I'm swallowing my tongue, I'm really not doing my job.
One last question, and I'll have a couple comments. But as an assistant, what goals do you try to set year in and year out to accomplish? I guess to accomplish the way the team will build, for the future.
Sure, yeah, and as an assistant coach, I have one job, and I branch off of that job. But my one job is to make the head coach's job easier. So if I can do that, then I can start to branch off of other facets in the player development, working with kids individually, using the experiences that I've had to be able to help them become a better basketball player. So I go in with one singular focus, though, to start with, and that is to make my head coach's job a lot easier. So I try to do the things that are in the background, the things that maybe people don't notice go on, whether it be laundry or whether it be getting the books ready or whatever the case is, then I want to help out my head coach. And so I'm here for him first, and I'm here for the kids. Probably a really, really, really close second. But I'm just here to help our community and help our school.
Well, Coach Carlisle, that's why I've always, been a fan of yours, and you've heard me say it before, and I'll continue to say it. I do think you're the greatest assistant coach, not only in this community, not in Southeast Kansas, but Kansas as a whole, and probably push for best of the nation as far as I'm concerned. And if anybody disagrees with that, I think they need to re-listen to this interview that we had with you here tonight, because I don't know if you could hit any answer more on the head on the comments that you made.
I appreciate that, Ryan.
So going forward, it's always a pleasure to sit down and visit with you.
And I just want to tell you, and I want to tell Justin and the whole team, that how much we appreciate what you guys are doing. And I don't know if you realize the impact that you have on our community, but I can't tell you the number of times that people have said, well, I just can't wait to listen to those guys on the radio, and of course they call it the radio. That gives you an idea of how old they are. Just kidding about that. But it's just kind of fun to have people that are really invested in the community, and you guys are.
Well, I'll speak for myself. We enjoy doing it night in and night out, getting to go watch the kids play, and we appreciate those comments, and hope to continue to be able to provide this service as long as we can.
Absolutely.
So, Coach Carlisle, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, you too.